Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everybody, how we doing? Hope everybody's doing well, having a good holiday if you celebrate. If you don't celebrate, still having a good, a peaceful time. But for those of you who don't celebrate like Christmas and all that kind of stuff, like for my Muslims, I don't think the Hebrew Israelites celebrated. I don't think Hebrew Israelites celebrated either. But low key, for those of us who do not celebrate this stuff, do y'all sometimes be low key getting like the Christmas spirit? Sometimes I'm asking for a friend. I don't have, it's missing this year. A few years back, maybe about, I don't know, it's been a minute since I quote unquote felt the Christmas spirit. I think time's too hard for that. People ain't really filling out one. This is definitely about that conversation. There were so many jewels in the conversation as it continued on. So this may be a longer live stream because I do want to get through a vast majority, because it's important. The context of the conversation is important to hear it unfold. It's a lesson about accountability or the lack thereof. It's also a lesson in when you do not address your spiritual value, when you don't address your life, utilizing the 10 life values in terms of it just being a measuring stick, or it just being something against which you can evaluate the different parts of your life or aspects of your life, how things can go wrong. It's a lesson in how women run men off and they are almost oblivious to how that happens. They look up and they are, oh, my relationship ended. Oh, he left. Oh, as if these things just popped out of the ground. So many people are oblivious. So many people aren't paying attention. So many people are not, they're going through life without actively being involved, if that makes sense. They're in relationships just going through motions. They're at work going through motions. They are in friendships with their families going through motions. Nobody's actively engaged. The lost value system, having taken spirituality away from everything, taking the soul out of everything, has got people walking around desensitized, not paying attention, unaware of themselves, unaware of their surroundings, unaware of their family, they unaware of their children, they unaware of their husbands, they unaware of their wives, they're unaware. And so when things happen, or when the bill comes due for that unawareness, now everybody's taken aback. Now all of this stuff is just, it's a surprise. And in particular, when relationships end, like marriages or long relationships, that don't never come out of the blue. I don't care what nobody say. When you are in long relationships, whether the man ends it or the woman ends it, it don't come out of the blue. That's not from nowhere. Now, just because it doesn't come out of the blue doesn't necessarily mean that the reasons that you break your family up are always legit, but they don't come from nowhere. Do we understand that concept? So let's say a woman break her family up, but it was for flimsy reasons. You should have seen her getting flimsy. She was getting flimsy. She was getting flimsy. And she was telling you she was flimsy. She was saying it. She was saying she was flimsy. I'm flimsy now. I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, I'm going. Exactly. See, Corey, what Tia did seemed out of the blue for Corey. But I bet you when he start thinking back, he can see the signs. He can see. Because hindsight is usually 20/20. That's what she was talking about. When she did such and such, that's what she was talking about. I thought she was talking about just this incident or just this thing she was feeling or just this thing she was thinking. And I dismissed it because it didn't make sense to me. I dismissed it because it wasn't legit. She was claiming that there were problems, but when I looked at it, I didn't see any problems. So I was trying to figure out what was really wrong. And I ended up pushing it to the side because if a man can't see a problem that he can actually put his hands on, then that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You see? Now, her reasons for leaving were not legit. So he wasn't wrong. Because even today, and it's been a whole year and some change, that they have been divorced, she still never said, Corey did this, Corey did that, this was bad, that was bad, this is why I left the marriage. So we can see in the aftermath that her leaving that marriage was a selfish thing. It was not a legit thing, but she still gave him signs for that. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Same thing with a man. If a man ups one day and say, oh, I can't do it anymore, he gave you signs that he was checking out. He was pulling back. He wasn't talking much. He wasn't interacting the same way. The energy switched. All of that stuff was adding up. It was adding up. And you missed it because you was in your own world. And so when it hit you in the mouth, oh my God, this came from nowhere. Actually, it didn't. That's been brewing for a minute. And you just didn't, you didn't pay it any attention when he said it, when he tried to do it, when things changed, things that we think are subtle changes and they're not, they be big changes and we don't want to see it, so we don't see it. And sometimes you can do something about it and sometimes you can't. But the conversation that I want y'all to hear this conversation. And we're going to take it a little bit deeper dive than just, she's acting silly or da-da-da-da-da. We're going to take a deeper dive in that because I want the women to pay attention. I want the men to pay attention too, everybody. But I want the women to pay close attention. This is how a lot of y'all be single. This is also affecting the broken lioness. Let me come back to you. Things like what we're gonna discuss is why I do my channel. Because their lioness is broken in the boneyard. And they do not understand what their problem is. They don't know. They can't see it. And see, if you never do no work, even as a so-called lioness, if you don't do the work, you'll be trapped in a boneyard and you shall be counted among the hyenas. You'll be counted among them. You got to do the work. You have to. Because there are a lot of lionesses lost in that boneyard, and they're lost for various reasons. But you cannot stay. And if you stay, due to blindness, due to your unwillingness or inability to see where you're broken and address it properly, you will be left in the boneyard and counted among the number of hyenas. You will not be counted as a lioness. You will not.
Yeah.
What's your name, baby? Veronica, right?
Yeah.
Where are you sitting? Where are you sitting, on the floor?
Yeah, I am.
Why?
Sometimes I sit here to read.
Okay. Can you bring the camera down a little bit so we can see more of you? Oh, well, you have your breasts out? Okay. Oh, you've got breasts like me, girl. Veronica, where are you calling us from?
New York.
And why? How old are you?
I am 42.
42. What you do for a living?
I'm a paralegal.
Paralegal. You have any kids?
I have a grown adult, young man, beautiful young man.
How old is he?
He is 22.
22. Have you ever been married?
No.
No. What's your zodiac sign?
I don't believe in that, but
okay, that's fine. You don't gotta share if you don't believe in it. There's no pressure. If you don't believe in it, it's fine. So we got Veronica, New York, 42, paralegal, son that's 22, never married. What kind of man you looking for, girl?
Someone who's laid back, someone who can teach me something, someone who likes to read, someone I can pray with. I'm not looking for just a relationship. I'm here looking for a companion.
Okay. What are your deal breakers?
You can't smoke. Nothing. I don't drink. I usually just, New Year's. But I don't mind you drinking. But I'm not into the knuckleheads. I'm not into cursing, being loud, abrasive, controlling. You know, I'm pretty comfortable with myself and open. So there's no reason for a man to be
Did you pick that up immediate? How many people picked this up immediate? Immediately. Immediately. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You'll be able to hear that. Even Purple Drain, is she okay? We can hear this. We've never met this woman. We don't know this woman. We don't know this woman. And we can catch that. That alone, let me talk to y'all. That depression will run anybody away, whether you are a man or a woman. If you're a depressed man, or if you are a depressed woman, everybody can feel that demon. We can feel the demon. Depression is a demon. It is a soul-sucking, light-sucking, life-draining demon. And you got to address it before you try to come to any relationship with anybody that is of any depth or merit. Okay? If you do not address the depression and all of that that's going on and everything, all of that that's causing the depression, you and you alone must peel the layer back to get to what's going on, how to resolve it, and resolve it. This is where the weight comes from. That's where the tattoos come from. And that's where that makeup is coming from. Do you understand? The depression, whatever it is that's got her self-esteem is really low, you're going to hear all of it. So everything that she's doing, everything that way she's presenting herself, with all the tats, with all of the makeup that's not blended and contoured properly. You can hear the intelligence, though. She's not stupid. She's broken. But that alone, that alone, she don't need nothing else to keep her out of a relationship. That'll keep you out of a relationship.
You know, correcting me or having any trouble getting across his communications.
Okay. What do you mean there's no need for a man to correct you?
Well, it's the controlling factor. I find there's a lot of controlling men and they feel like, you know, oh, they can tell you what to do. And of course, any woman who has a home with a man, you would like to take your man advice, but I'm not looking for that man that'd be like, oh, what you do, what you were. Like, I'm not on that shit. Like,
Okay. Should he? I'm confused. So you don't want a man, you just don't want a controlling man.
Mm-hmm.
But would you take your man's advice in some ways or no?
Yes, if it's reasonable, if it flows out of his mouth in a reasonable manner, yes.
Give me an example of something that, because I think we all want to understand. What is something?
Okay, like, say I want to go out with my friends. You can give me the rundown. You can be like, who's there? You know, what you're wearing and things like that. But there's no need for that with me because I'm not the type of, I'm not a rundown chick. You know, I'm not some easy or compromising myself physically kind of chick. So I don't feel he would have to worry with me. There's no questions that he would need to ask because he would already know.
Okay. So like if you say I'm going on my homegirl.
Let me clarify what she's trying to say. Let me clarify what she's trying to say that she's not articulating very well. She was trying to say that I don't go to clubs, I don't go drinking, I don't go smoking, I don't hang in certain crowds or do certain things. So because I don't do those things, he wouldn't have to ask me about those things. He would not have to try to figure out, oh, this club thing and that club thing and da, because I don't do that. So he doesn't have to worry to think to ask me that because these are things that I'm not even going to do in the first place. That's what she's trying to say. You'll hear it later. She'll try to explain that later. Keep watching.
Leave it at that. You don't want him to ask you any more questions.
Nah, I would already tell him, going out with my homegirls, this is what I'm wearing, boo, look. Or you want to come, it's not a big deal to me. I just don't want that, you can't do this, because that's a real turn off right there. That'll drive me up real quick.
Okay. This must have been a past experience.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Should he look a certain way?
No, I'm into dark chocolate. I like bald heads. I like facial hair. So to be groomed very well, smell good. Someone you want to just lay up under or put your face up under them and be comfortable.
Okay. Okay. What about money? Should he make a certain amount of money?
The rubbing of the face, the constant fidgeting. She's highly self-conscious about how big she is. Exactly. That's what everybody's gonna come. My baby says she don't want no help. She thinks nothing's wrong. I'm gonna tell you what she means by what she really means by I don't want nobody to correct me. Let me tell you what she actually means. What she's trying to say is that, like, if he want her to do something like around the house or something for him or something like that, she'll do that. She don't got no problem with that. What she doesn't want is for a man to make her elevate. You understand what I'm saying? She doesn't want a man that is going to apply certain standards that are going to force her to elevate. See, because she's willing to just be cool and not do a lot of upheaval. She's willing to not be an upheaval. I'm not arguing, you know what I'm saying, and making a big problem. However, the other side isn't much better. Don't apply standards to me that make me have to do the introspection, do the work, and address myself so that I can be a better person and uplift and elevate my own way of thinking and doing in order to work with you and be with you to make this relationship work. In other words, I want you to accept me how I am, because what you're really going to hear as this unfolds is she thinks that because she doesn't drink, smoke, run the street, you know what I'm saying, in the club with a bunch of, running around with a bunch of chicks, running around with a bunch of dudes, she thinks she don't need to do nothing more than that. She thinks, I'm going to repeat that because because of the things that she does not do, that should be covering the things that she should do. And that doesn't work. Speaking as a former broken down lioness, speaking as a former broken down lioness, you get trapped for a time in the, well, at least I don't trap. At least I don't, it's a trap. Because speaking from my past personal experience, at least I wasn't a hoe. Right? I wasn't an argumentative woman. I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't a street runner. I wasn't a party goer. I didn't run around with ratchet friends. I didn't have male friends. I didn't have none of that stuff. But I was just as broken as anybody could have been coming out that boneyard. My mind needed to be fixed. And I had some spirituality. I was Muslim. I've been Muslim since 1996. Okay? That's where you can start. Because see, when I first got married, obviously I didn't know then what I know now about being a wife. But I had to start with what you don't do, because I didn't know what to do. And see, that's a trap. A lot of women fall in that. You can know what not to do, but that doesn't automatically mean you know what to do. See, I had to learn what to do. I kind of figure what not to do. Right? That was a start. Don't be, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, don't be argumentative. I'm not a street runner. He don't have to keep gathering me. He don't have to not trust me around men, or, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. I'm not somewhere where he got to try to figure out, well, what is she doing? Or where is she going? I was always where I said I was going to be. I was always doing what I said I was going to do. When he came home, I was home. The meals was cooked. The house was clean. So I knew what not to do. But I didn't know what to do. And I needed a lot of work to get to a point where not only was I just staying away from the obviously bad things that you do in your marriage, and I moved into the good things that you do to support your marriage. You understand? Because there's the things you do to break it, the obvious stuff, the big things. But then now you have to learn how to support your marriage and how to make it thrive from your end as the wife. In other words, I had to learn how to be a wife. I had to learn more about my lionessness. That took work. And not only did it take work, it took the willingness to do the work. It took the willingness and the humility that it took to allow my husband's order to make me be like, you got work to do though. Because see, I was still depressed. You understand? I still had low self-esteem. I still had low self-value, a low sense of self-worth. I still had that stuff going on. And that can be as devastating to your marriage as your man catching you cheating. It's almost worse because the other stuff is a slow chip. It's a slow work of breaking your marriage before it can even begin. All of them depressed episodes I used to have and crying fits. It's a wonder. It's a wonder that the marriage lasted. You understand? And the only reason that he was as patient as he was about it is because on top of that, I wasn't a Hellcat. You understand? I didn't keep up drama and mess for him. But I was chaotic within myself. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. This is why I talk the way I talk. Because I've been through that, but you got to come through it. You cannot sit where you are and think that the world is supposed to pity you. You can't. You can't just sit there, ladies. If you got depression issues, if you got self-image issues, self-esteem, you gotta work on that. And if you have a husband that is willing to be patient and that is willing to give you some structure and some order and some things and some tools that's gonna help you better yourself, have the humility to take it and use it and do it. Do your work. Do your work. He cannot do that work for you. He can't. I don't care how much your husband loves you. You understand me? I don't care how much a man loves you. I don't care how much he value you. I don't care how much he care about you. He cannot do this work for you. He can't. It's not possible. You must do. You must do. Not him. He can only do so much. He can only give you tools. He can only give you leadership. He can only give you guidance. You have to take it. And you must do the work necessary to not only elevate yourself as a person, as a woman, as a wife, possibly as a mother to your children, but you also elevate his life. Because when you do the work and that fruit comes to bear, the labor comes to fruition, both of you will be happy. You will be content. You will be at peace because he will see, I do have the jewel that I thought I had. She's the jewel I thought I had. She was rough around the edges. I had to keep on going in and polishing. I had to keep on going in and sanding it. I had to keep on going in. But now she's a diamond. She's a diamond. She's the diamond I married. You don't understand the trial of going through the work But the break on the other side, though, nobody talk about that. Everybody talk about how difficult the work is, and it is difficult. It is difficult. But nobody talks about the validation and the reward of the work at the end of the initial trial when you first face them demons. She has not faced her demons. She might be a good woman. She may be. I don't know her. But when I listened to her, I didn't hear a street runner, a whore, a prostitute. I didn't hear that. But what I did hear was that brokenness. And I heard a resistance. And this is where she may fail. I did hear a resistance to the work.
Enough to provide for himself.
Okay, for himself. Let's do the Kendra cam. That's when you stand up and we see your full body.
Well, I can't stand up, but can you see me?
You gotta stand up.
Can you see me?
No, you have to stand up, honey.
Okay.
You gotta stand up, ma'am. Ma'am. You wanna do what you wanna do. She's in chaos. Broken lionesses be in chaos. The thing that differentiates the lioness from the hyena is the willingness to address the chaos, no matter how difficult and uncomfortable it may be. And this is why I said what I said in the beginning. Even if you are a so-called lioness, if you stay in that boneyard and you don't do no work to come out of it, you will be counted among the hyenas. Your results will tell you what you have really been. Because at some point, you got to do the work. At some point, you got to do the work. Now, she don't want to stand up because she knows she big. Let's just be real. She don't want to stand up, but we already see you big, baby. We already see you big, sweetheart. We see you big, beloved. This is just not them tatas that's big. The rest of you is also big. We can see it in your face. We can see it in your neck. We can see it in we can see it, but we can see you. So you might as well go ahead and stand up. You want a man to come along in your life, but you don't even so much as want to stand up. If you are that self-conscious that you cannot stand up in a situation where you called into Kendra's show and the Kendra cam is part of the process and she gonna say stand up and you got to be cammed up and all that kind of stuff, you needed to have been prepared for that, because it's a lot of odd-shaped Bettys, okay, that have came on that show. You will not be the biggest one that has come on that show. I done seen some interesting ones come on that show. I have seen some groove-built chicks getting up and they'll twirl around, baby. You be like, ooh, baby, where you get that shape from? Where you get that shape from, beloved? Now, come on now. So you ain't even the biggest one. And if she take all that makeup off her face, she wouldn't even look bad, because she's 42 and I would have pegged her in like her mid-30s. So she's not even like an old hag looking woman. But that ain't even her problem. Her problem is internal.
Oh boy, can you see me?
Yeah, we can see your legs, but I think
you're doing the fat girl. You're doing the fat girl camera position. Baby, we still see your belly, beloved. We see your belly, Bookie. We see you, Bookie. We see it.
This could work.
Okay.
Veronica, New York. Do you want the guy to be in New York?
Yeah, that would be Ideal.
Ideal. Okay. When was your last relationship?
I've been celibate for 9 years. So, I'm gonna have to say 9.
So, are you celibate till marriage?
Something like that, yeah.
Is that not the goal? If it's not the goal, what's the goal?
The goal is to not have to do this all over again. Not to look anymore. I want to find something. I want to be with someone. I want to go places with that person. I want to grow old.
So in the last 9 years, why do you think you've been single?
By choice. By trauma.
I was gonna say, have you been to therapy?
Yeah. I use therapy regularly.
Okay. Has it helped you get through whatever you've gone through?
Well, I'm still here and standing. I put myself through school, have my own loft. I'm just lonely, I guess.
No, I understand. Because I mean, talking to you, I didn't know that I could tell you've been through something. You don't got to share the exact scenario, what it is, but it seems like, listen, and I get it. A lot of ladies' guards are up because they've been through so much. So you've created this wall of protection. But
well, I can
right?
tell you that I've only been with 2 people in my whole entire life. And one of those people I've spent 16 years with. The other person was someone in high school. So
now she just told us something interesting. She said she's only been with 2 people, one in high school, the other man for 16 years. Okay. And I would assume that she's 42. And I would assume that the grown son that she has is from the 16 year, maybe more, relationship. Okay. You can tell that she has extreme self-esteem issues. Okay. She was with a man for 16 whole years. Okay. That's more than a lot of women can do. That's longer than a lot of marriages. Okay. But as you realize, he's the one that left the relationship. And she never goes into details about why he left. But I'll speculate that whoever this man was probably broken too when they met. Most people are trauma bonding. Okay. So he was probably broken in his own way. Right. And so was she. And they got together. What's interesting is they never married. And he probably started growing as a person. Okay. He probably started growing as a person he may have even been in some form of depression. Okay? And if he began to grow as a person, coming out of that depressive state, coming out of whatever trauma he was in or whatever was going on with him, because to be with a woman that has a lot of self-esteem issues, you got a lot going on too, especially to stay for 16 years. That's almost 2 decades. Right? So this wasn't wham bam, thank you, ma'am. He was trying to have a relationship with this woman. It was pretty much a marriage. Okay. He had some type of growth, and she didn't. She didn't. She couldn't do it. And when he was growing, he was trying to bring her with him to get her to see life and other things the way he was beginning to see it. And she could not do that. She could not do that. She thought that because I am a woman with low body count, I'm not this whore or anything, because I actually believe her. I believe her. I believe her about that. Because when women have a lot of bodies, but they want to lie about the bodies that they have, they don't give you a number. They'll just say, I've been dating. They won't say what they sexual history actually, they won't say it. They'll say, I've been dating, I've been single. That means we ain't even gonna ask how many men you've been with, Bookie. But when women come up with an actual number like that, and the way her energy is, I believe her. I believe her. She ain't really had no men like that. She ain't had no men like that. And that's okay. That's a good thing that she has not. This is what she's hanging her hat on. That's why I believe her. Because she's hanging her hat on, I'm not this sexually sleazy female. She thinks that's all it takes. And if her sexual market value was to be heightened by her lack of bodies, her marital market value is down because her personal market value is crap. The reason this woman can't get married is because if we're gonna believe that her sexual market value is two bodies, maybe 3, right? A handful, not even a whole handful, we'll say. She's not this slutty, you know what I'm saying? I've been all in the streets, all the dudes that ran through me type of chick. Right? So let's say her sexual market value actually was pretty decent. The reason she can't get marriage market value is because personal market value is crap. Because the sexual market value and your personal market value actually is separate. Those don't occupy the same space. But the marriage market value occupy all of it. If your personal market value is crap, your marriage market value is crap. It's going to be crap. He began to grow, and she couldn't do it. And eventually he outgrew her. He outgrew her. And it probably hurt him to outgrow her. But everybody can't go with you. Everybody can't come. When you start growing as a person, when you start changing your mindset from this downtrodden, impoverished, lacking, unloved, traumatic mindset into something better than that, the people that you surrounded yourself with, if they don't make those changes, you can't continue to be with them. I don't care what your relationship was with them. It could be your mama and the daddy. It could be your kids. It could be your husband or your wife. It could be anybody. It could be anybody. People cannot come with you when you start changing and bettering yourself, and they can't make those changes within themselves. Here's another tidbit before we go into a commercial break. And then we're going to come back to this. Here's the other part of it as well. When you are broken, you don't know who you're going to be when you fixed. When you are broken, you do not know who the person's going to be when you heal. You don't know who that person is. You have no idea who that person is at all. Because the person that you are when you're broken is not the person that you become when you heal. And the things that you tolerated, the people that you tolerated, the treatment that you tolerated, all of that stuff is become abhorrent to you later. After you heal, you be like, oh my God. I was deep off into that. Yeah, I was sick. I was sick in the mind and I was sick in the spirit. Because ain't no way. I'm a completely different person. And I had no idea who that person was going to be. After these messages, we'll be right back. Because it is not too late to go to ashkickingcom. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Okay? Go ahead, make an order for this wonderful body butter to keep your skin soft, to keep it hydrated, to keep it moisturized, especially if you are now in wintertime and cold weather. Sometimes a lot of that can do a lot of damage to the skin, the wind and the cold. So you definitely want to protect your skin while it is smelling so wonderful, because this body butter is like off the chain. So you definitely want to go to ashkickingcom, pick yourself up some body butter and other personal care items for yourself as well as for family and friends. The link is at the top of the chat. If this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson. I owe you guys, bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to, Go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you, McCulloch. Did I say it right? Just showing my love for what you do. I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Miss Mia, for your super sticker. I appreciate you too, sweetheart. Let's get back into it.
Those are the only relationships I've had, and I'm 42.
So the one you were with 16 years, you broke up with him 9 years ago?
Before that.
When did you break up with that one?
Um. Couldn't tell you. It's just so long ago.
Well, let me ask you this. So you've been celibate for 9 years, but when did you decide that you wanted to start to try again?
It has always been on my mind to try again. We would never give up on love, you know? I'm a God-fearing woman, and I want, I want to be somebody's rib. I want to be somebody's better half. It's never not been a choice for me. It's just I'm going about it in a different way this time.
Okay. And what's the difference you're doing this time? Is it something like, calling like my show, putting yourself out there?
Yeah, I didn't think that you would pick me, but yeah.
Well, you had to get in queue to get picked.
I know. And I thought that I was like ready, because I just came in, but then I'm looking at myself on your camera and I can tell that my makeup is worn from the whole day. So
I mean, makeup is subjective. I'm a makeup girl.
She did say 16 years, Miss Sabrina. And yes, she knows exactly. She knows the exact day and time and the conversations that were being had that led up to that breakup. She doesn't want to say. This is the part where we start dodging accountability. This is when she starts dodging it. Right? Because the first thing that we're hit with is her apparent lack of self-value and worth and her depression. Okay? It's coming through in her energy. It's coming through in the way she's talking. It's coming through in the way that she is presenting herself. No, I'm not using OBS. I don't use OBS anymore. I'm using StreamYards now. But I know how to use OBS, but I haven't used OBS in probably 2 years. I like OBS, but OBS is a lot. OBS is a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. Now she's dodging accountability. She tossed her makeup into the conversation because she's self-conscious about it. She knows that it doesn't look right. It's worn from the whole day. That's how you put it on just a little while ago to get on this show. But you don't know how to put your makeup on. She probably doesn't even wear it a lot. She buys makeup to make her feel better. She may play in it, but she don't really wear it. Because women that wear their makeup a lot know how to put it on. You can't help but to figure out how to put it on. So she just put the makeup on. She's trying to make herself feel better, make herself present better, and it didn't work because what she's not understanding is that the presentation is not the outward presentation, it's the inward presentation that's throwing everybody off. Everybody's thrown off from the energy, not the way she looks. So she probably didn't even need that heavy of a makeup because some women's faces can't take heavy makeup, and she's one of them. She's one of them women whose face can't even take a heavy-handed makeup approach. Her face need a light approach for makeup, almost you ain't got it on kind of approach. Some women's faces can't even do that.
Girl, so your makeup is fine to me, but that's subjective. Some people don't like my makeup, child, but it is what it is. But let me keep going. So 9 years ago, so the last time you was with somebody was 9 years ago, too, you said, correct?
Uh-huh.
What are 3 flaws you have to work on?
Oh, God. I have to speak up more in the moment, not later. I have to say no to those who ask for money. I'm gonna just say it right out. People think you have a good job, and they think because you have money, it's
Is
their
this
money.
men or like family members who ask?
It's anybody. It's anybody. I'm gonna look at you sideways, because if there was a need that was important, then I would have noticed it. If you're in my company, you know what I mean, and I would have offered. So, yeah, that's just a no for me. And God, I think my guard is up to a certain extent. I don't like big crowded places. I don't really like going to clubs. I like, maybe.
Now, the thing, I want y'all to notice something. The thing, Kendra asks her, just like she asked everybody, what are 3 things you need to work on yourself? Notice she did not name 3, she named 2. And those things were not flaws. What she named was the reactions that she needs to have in the future for when people do stuff to her. A victim. This is the dodging of accountability number 2. We said flaws. What's wrong with you? Huh? Because we're trying to get out the 3 biggest shortcomings that you will have so that somebody can come in knowing at least partially what they about to deal with. So Kendra asked that question so that you won't have a complete 100% representative, because a representative will never tell you what's wrong with them. But it's to bring that to some realistic stuff going on with you. What are your flaws? What are your shortcomings? She didn't name any. This is a red flag. This is a red flag. You gotta be, this shows lack of self-awareness, intentional blindness to your own faults and flaws, which sums up to lack of accountability. She doesn't mention her weight because she knows that's the biggest problem. And it ain't even the biggest problem. That's not her biggest problem. Her weight is not her biggest problem. Right. This is why I just said a handful, right? Because she's saying 2, but it's probably more like a small handful. We'll just put it like that. The reason why I'm saying that her weight is not her biggest problem is because whatever it is that's going on with her that's got her overweight is her biggest problem. That's her biggest problem. If she addressed it, the weight would come off of her. I had done a lot of work as a formerly broken down lioness. I had done a lot of work to try to dig out of the depression ditch, to dig out of the low self-esteem issue, to dig myself out from underneath the trauma that I had lived through and gone through, and finding the closure and finding the healing to move away from those things. I had done a lot. And the work that I had done allowed me to come to the place where I needed to do the work for the weight. Because it wasn't that I had never tried to address my weight by exercising and trying to eat properly and things of that nature. It wasn't because, you know how you fall off the wagon, on the wagon, you fall off that. The weight would not come off until I addressed why I had the weight. Why was I doing myself like that? Why was I doing myself like that? Why I don't like myself? Why am I punishing myself still? You say you got over your self-esteem issues and your trauma and your this and your that and blah, 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 blah. You say you got over that stuff, but there's something else that you have not done. You still don't like yourself. You still don't love yourself because you're still punishing yourself. You're still punishing yourself. You're hurting yourself with food. It's an emotional crutch, but an emotional crutch from what? Get to it. Peel them layers back now. And there was, lo and behold, once I popped the top off of that, oh, it's a lot of little funky demons in here. It's a lot of old funky demons in here, some old ones too. Let me get these demons up out of here. It's time for you to go. Because see, I've been doing work, so now I understand. I understand the work. I ain't scared of you. Come on. Once I dealt with the foolishness inside of me, weight gone. The weight was not an issue. Now the eating right and the exercise work now. It work now. Ain't that something? The eating right and the exercise, it work now. It worked like a charm. Work like a charm. This is why I say big girls and big people. If this go for the men too. If you big and fat as a man, it's something wrong. And it ain't the food. It's why you putting that food in your mouth like that. Why you doing that? When you're big like that and you're overweight and your clothes ain't fitting right and you're a big back and you don't like it, but you know you don't want to look at it and all that old kind of stuff, you better figure out what's wrong with you and figure it out fast. Figure it out. Because something wrong with you. And all that, the chicks like me when you're a big dude. No, you fat. You're not a big dude. You're fat. Don't put yourself in the category of just being a big guy. No, you're not just a big guy. You're a big fat guy. What are you talking about? That's what's like chicks being big, talking about she thick. No, don't do that to thick women. Don't do that to thick women. You fat, beloved. Don't say that. I'm just thick. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you are not. No, you are not. Okay? You pre-diabetic. You are not thick. What is wrong with you? You're not thick. If you're a fat woman, you are not thick, and you're not thick, baby. And if you're a big old fat, big backed man, you're not just just a big guy. No, it's men that I've seen men that's just a big guy. Okay? Shaq is a big guy. He's gonna be big anyway. Ain't no use in trying to say he's supposed to be 200 something. No, he ain't. Shaq big. He just big. He just big. But he ain't big backed it. And I'm just using him because he's like an extreme example. There ain't too many folk his size. But I seen other men, he's 6'2" and all that kind of stuff. He's just a big old dude, but he ain't, his belly ain't to his knees. He ain't fat. You're fat. Okay. Not big boned. Right. He ain't just a big guy. Your baby, you is a hamburger weight. He was on stage with an oxygen tank, baby. You ain't just no big, I'm just a big old guy. You a disabled guy? You can't walk, you a non-walking guy? Talking about. I'm not helping you off of that medically equipped bed you sleep on. You can't buy just a little platform frame from the store. You got to get one through your insurance company. One that'll take up to, you can't get a frame take up to about 250, 300 pounds. You got to get one of them medically reinforced bed frames. And boy, ain't nobody wrestling you out that bed.
Live music and you're sitting down and there's a meal and just I don't want to be like in the corner and it's just like crowded people just in the building just dancing to pussy popping music. It's not my thing. I just don't like the music today. They're telling you to pussy pop, but they get married. So I just don't like it.
Well, one will say even in marriage, you can pop that.
Yeah, I know. But that's their message that they're sending out to our young girls.
Oh, I understand. Good job. Veronica, why would a guy be lucky to be with you, honey?
I can cook pie from scratch. I am like a preschool teacher. I
thought you were a paralegal.
I am that too.
So you're a preschool teacher and a did you tell me that?
No. Because my preschool teaching is something I do during the day, early in the morning. And paralegal is something I do when everybody's out of the office and I prepare briefs and things like that. And then I leave. So that's what I do. But I don't know what to say. Yeah, that's it.
Could the guy have kids?
Sure.
Should he be in New York?
Yeah.
We have some paid questions. Do you want them?
Oh God. Sure.
Did you cuss? I thought you didn't cuss though. Okay. Did you cuss?
Well, there's only one way to describe the music today, and that's pussy pop. So yeah, I did.
Well, Veronica, there's other songs that don't pee pop.
Very minuscule genre that doesn't.
Okay. Veronica seems like a problem and kind of odd. Seems very difficult to deal with.
What is odd? That I'm normal? Or that I'm not here for the foolishness? Oh, is it odd that I can keep myself and my legs closed for 9 years? What's odd about me?
Ooh.
Because I got myself together. I got certificates, diplomas. I got celibacy. I got God. What's odd about me? You gotta come better than that. You gotta give examples. You just can't just I'm an oddball, like because you don't see me as much.
Here's the deal, y'all. I always say this. I am a journalist who started hosting a dating show. I'm not a dating expert. I'm not a relationship expert. I'm a person that has data, right? And I have discernment and just energy. I will say this is why we talked about therapy. I can tell you've been through something that has made you very guarded. And it's almost like protection. And I understand because there's a lot of women that are very guarded due to past relationship experiences.
Do you think that because I have been celibate for 9 years?
No, I didn't know. When we made this conclusion, I didn't know you were celibate for 9 years. We talked about therapy before you even shared that, if you go back.
Well, in the Black families, they don't believe in therapy. I do.
I definitely believe in therapy. I believe in a lot. I believe in therapy. I believe in the pastor. I believe in psychics. I believe in all the things that can help you become a better person. But before we did discover you were celibate for 9 years, in the beginning, we were breaking down because you were saying how you didn't, like, I don't want a man to ask me no questions. It was along that, I don't remember, I can't quote you verbatim, but we spent a lot of time there. And that's when it was revealed.
There are knucklehead things that men do. Like, you can't wear that.
Now, see, now we're getting into it. This is the correction she doesn't want. See, she don't mind her man saying, baby, I know you cooking tonight, but could you cook me a specific meal? She'll happily do that. If her man say, she'll offer things like, baby, you want a massage or something like that? She'll do that. She'll do that. If he say, baby, I need you to be at such and such place, she'll do that. That's not what she talking about. Because that's something that she would have done anyway. The correction she doesn't want is the one that makes her do her work. She don't want that. That's the correction she don't want. She doesn't want, and see, now y'all can hear it because you've heard her speak more. She doesn't want the man that is with her to bring the order that is gonna be necessary, because what he's going to have to do, the order that he's gonna have to bring to her is gonna make her excessively uncomfortable. The thing that is going to be is the reason she's on the defense right now is because the correction that he would bring to her to make her be a better person, she's gonna take it as if he's saying she's a bad person. And she's prided herself. The story she's told herself is that because she doesn't whore and slut and coochie pop, as she say, and all of that, that she's not a bad person. And if you're not a bad person, then what work do you need to do to become a better person if you're already a good person? The problem is that she might be a good person in that space. That doesn't mean she's being good. She's not being good. She may not be being specifically bad, but she's not being good. You see? She has sufficed herself that since I don't do A, B, and C, that should be good enough for any man to deal with me. This is where the accountability is dodged. She believes that abstaining from the sex, which is fine. I don't have no problem with a woman saying, I'm just not going to be out there. I'm not in a relationship, so I'm not going to be out there just having sex and being just in these situationships, running my body count up for what? I agree with that, especially in this climate. I agree with that. But if you're going to be abstinent, you got to do the work in that time frame. She thought just abstaining from being in situationships was good enough. It's not. Because she failed to do the work to accompany the abstinence. Okay, I'm not going to be in and out with these men. So that's one thing. We're going to just X that off the table. I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship. No reason for me to be hopping from man to man. There's no reason for me to do that. So now that I take that off the table, that leaves all the time in the world for me to address me and address all the things that I need to address. The things that's got me fat, the things that's got me depressed, the things that's got me with low self-esteem. What are the lessons that I can learn from the relationship that I was in that did not survive? What is it that I can learn? She did all the things that a hyena would do to mask it. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get some type of job to get some money and stuff like that. I believe her. She's both a preschool teacher and a paralegal. The reason she didn't say preschool teacher is because she thinks paralegal makes her sound better. Forgot that she didn't say preschool teacher. See, her preschool job is her day job. That's the big job. A paralegal ain't nothing but a secretary. She do that part-time. You understand? A paralegal ain't nothing but a secretary to lawyers. So she did what the modern woman does. Let me go to these external things to try to make myself be better and feel better. The problem is that she really deep down feels the drive. She feels not the drive. She feels the necessity of the spiritual value and going towards it. She's feeling that pull. Okay? She's feeling the pull of, I need to address my internal self. All of this stuff, education and professional, that doesn't fill the void at all. And I really got to deal with it. But dealing with it makes me have to face the fact that I'm not really a good one, a good person. I'm not. I had that problem personally in the past. I always thought of myself as a good person. You know, I don't be just running roughshod over folk and doing folk dirty, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a whore. I don't go, you understand? But the issues that you have, the way in which I had to step out of my own experience and understand that I'm not experiencing me in the world. Other people are. Other people experience me in a way that I will never experience myself. How am I impacting them? And I had to come to, you know, you're the villain in somebody's story, right? Know that, don't you? You know, if somebody is going to talk about you, somebody from your past, somebody that know you, you know you're going to be the villain in somebody's story. And you're not the hero. You might want to be the hero in your story. But I bet you it's a few people that when they tell the story of you, you are so the villain in it. You're so the villain in that story. You're an astronomical villain in this story. And you got to face that. You the villain in somebody's story, boo-bookie. Mm-hmm. You about to be the villain in your own. Running around here thinking somebody's supposed to take pity and feel sorry and this and that. And you have no self-awareness of how you are impacting people. The people that's around you. You telling yourself a lot of stories about why people don't mess with you. Maybe people ain't messing with you because maybe you don't have the character and the qualities that you think that you have and that you think that you are displaying. Maybe you don't actually have them. Let's take an examination of that. Do you have those qualities? What would other people's experience of you say about whether or not you got X quality and this quality and that quality? You think they would have a good accounting of you? Maybe some people will have a good accounting of you. But I guarantee you it's some folk that do not have a good account of you. And you got to understand that, Miss Ma'am. And instead of wallowing in the self-pity that you would like to wallow in for that, oh, the woe is me. Right. Get up. Because nobody has time for that. You're grown. Get up. And maybe make a better presentation of yourself, and people you won't be the villain in folks' stories then. Right? And maybe you're not the worst person, but you're certainly not the person you think you are. There is a disconnect between the person you think you are and want to be and the person that you actually are. You're going to have to make that match. That's where the work come in at. Because I had a thought about who I was. And maybe in some instances I was that person. Right? Because you think if you don't do things maliciously, or that you didn't intend to do certain things, that the impact is not the impact. A key thing that I learned, ladies, and anybody can take this, but I'm talking to the ladies. Your intent and your impact is two different things. You may be doing things without the intention of being bad. It may not have no malice to it. Because I know that's true for me. I don't operate in malicious energy. I'm not a malicious person. But just because you did not intend to hurt someone, to do something wrong to somebody, to wrong someone, to disrespect someone, or to dishonor someone, doesn't mean that that wasn't your actual impact to them. That could have definitely been your impact. And you have to take accountability for the impact, not the intention. Because if you hurt somebody, they don't care if you meant to hurt them or not. So saying, I didn't mean to do that, that does nothing. You have to be accountable for the impact that you had, not the intent. We're going to do some more.
Why can't I wear this? Oh, because it's showing this or that. I'm not that kind of chick. So for a guy to say that to me would be crazy. I don't want you dictating to me, because I would never dictate to a guy. When you walk out that door, if you don't say nothing to me, I ain't asking you where you going.
I mean, do you want the rest of these questions? It's up to
Sure,
you.
sure.
Oh, okay. Divine Photo says the trauma is real, but you're looking for a man while you are unhealed. How come you didn't require marriage from the 16-year relationship?
I did.
No, you didn't.
It was never. It didn't come to fruition because of problems in a relationship, cheating. So I stayed with what was comfortable. And when I found myself uncomfortable, I left.
That was a whole lot of smoke screen, y'all. That was a whole lot of smoke screen and gaslighting there. That was a lot of dodging of accountability and not taking no responsibility for nothing. That was a lot. That was a whole lot. 16 years. I did require marriage. No, you didn't. Because had you required that, it would have happened. 16 years ago, she was a younger woman. And that's not even 16 years ago. 20. More than 20. More than 20 years ago, she was 19 or 20 years old. Young woman. You understand? Because if she's 42 now and broke up 9 years ago, she was 33. So she was like 18 years old. A young woman. Probably could have been somebody's lioness. Could have been. Maybe. That might have been what that man saw when he got with her. A potential lioness. Not a street running woman. Not a, a ran through woman and all of that. Not that was her. Okay. Had a little weight on her. Not a big deal. Right? You get with her. Y'all young. He probably not too far off of her age. Right? And they wanted to try to make some type of life. They got together and they wanted to be together. Right? And then you didn't change. You didn't change. Cheating, to boil it down to cheating, that was highly disingenuous. What happened before the cheating happened? Because she didn't say she left after he cheated. So that's not a hard line for her. And she said, if you leave out the house, I'm not going to ask you where you're going. Like, I'm not in your business like that. I believe that. She's probably not. She thinks because she was being quiet that she was being peaceful, and that's not the same thing. Just because you shutting up, that's not peace. Don't let nobody tell you that silence is peace. No, it's not. It's a lot that happened before this so-called cheating happened. When he cheat? In the 16th year? In the 15th year? What was going on before that? What was the problems in the relationship prior to that? What was he telling you in this relationship that was bothering him prior to that? Let's just take that at face value. Let's just say he stepped out and he went with another woman. Why? Why he do that? Because he a dirty dog, or because there was a lot of foolishness and a lot of it was coming from you in this relationship, and he was trying to find some peace somewhere else. He was trying to be with a woman that wasn't depressed, that was draining all his energy. Because low self-esteem is unattractive. Low self-esteem is unattractive. Huh? You don't even like yourself. Why would somebody like you? You don't like you. Why would somebody like you? And in her depression, she started eating. The sex started going down because because she's depressed, because she's in depression. He's trying to change. He's less and less attracted. She feels more and more rejected. She emotionally eating. She's got a lot of insecurities. She starts eating. She physically becomes less attractive to him. She wasn't like that before. She can't find it in herself to get herself together. He trying to help her get herself together. She don't want to hear it because it makes her feel like she's being attacked, like she's not a good person, like she's a horrible person. She doesn't want to feel like a horrible person. So she eats again. She just, and she's angry. She's quiet, but she's angry. She's not arguing all the time, but she's angry. And it feels like she's angry with him. She's really angry with herself. She's mad at herself and projecting it out. He's doing something to her. He's treating her away. He's saying this. He's doing that. Everything hurt her feelings. He was, harsh with his words. He probably was not. She just didn't want to hear the words. She didn't want to hear them. She want to hear them. Women, this is a cautionary tale. And now I'm talking to my lionesses, because hyenas don't care. Lionesses, especially the young, inexperienced lionesses. Lionesses with trauma, you had better start working. Your husband's correction need not be constantly tempered by your feelings about his correction. Because if you take the correction, 9 out of 10 times, he'll become softer when given it. My apologies. Excuse me. He'll become softer when given it. Most men, not all, most men will become softer when he give the correction and when he see you take it. Well, she do listen. She do listen. So I ain't got to yell at her all the time or say something hurtful to her to get her to, get a move on. If you're willing to take what he is offering in terms of his leadership and the tools and the structures and things of that nature that he's giving you, then he sees the willingness of you to implement, that make him try harder. That make him try harder. It gives him more patience. It gives him more patience. She did a lot. That I want y'all to understand that she did a lot of not taking no accountability for nothing in that relationship. Nothing. Cheating was your biggest. I doubt it. I doubt that highly. I doubt that highly. I doubt highly that everything was going fine and hunky-dory and then he just cheated. Girl, if you don't stop them lies, If you do not stop them kind of lies, them is bald-headed lies. Them is uncontoured, unblended lies. You better stop them unblended lies. Why you get on here and tell them uncontoured, them heavily contoured lies? Huh? You get on here and tell these heavy blush lies. Get over here and tell them too much concealer lies. You telling yourself a story about what he did to you, just like you telling yourself a story about why you keep eating the way that you eating. And I'm not even being funny. Why you big like that? What story do you tell yourself about that? I want to know, what story do she tell herself about it? Because she telling herself a story. And now she want to tell the world a story about. Now it's a story about why that relationship didn't work. You did not require marriage out of that. What man would not have married a 18, 17-year-old with like one body on her, no kids? Why wouldn't he have married you? Because in my broken state, baby, I got married and I was a whole, woo, the trauma that was going on with me is unbelievable. I needed to heal like a big dog. Okay. I wouldn't have touched me for a good little while. I mean, baby, you need to go cry that out or something. Just a little bit more. Well, we almost at the 2 hours anyway. Might as well get a little bit more.
Okay. TT said, sis, it's time to rise up and focus on your healing journey. Discover who you truly are before seeking a partner. It wouldn't be fair to enter a relationship with a heart that's not yet whole.
What makes my heart not whole?
Oh.
Do you find that I need to go healing just because I'm going to therapy every day? I go to therapy every day, so I don't curse nobody out at the job, at the gas station, anything. That's why I go to therapy. That's just that's like going to Sunday service for me.
She's being purposely blind. I ain't gonna keep going. She being purposely blind. And my assessment of her is this: even if she had the potential to be a good woman to somebody, not addressing it since you was 33 years old into 42 years old, that's what ruined her chances. Her chances was ruined at love. She's single because she abstained from 9 years, but she did not do any work. She failed to do a single iota of work. She thought closing her legs was the only work that she needed to do. Baby, that was like 1/10 of what you needed to do. 1/10. Literally a 10th. You failed to address yourself spiritually. What is going on with you? You failed to address the demons. What happened that have you thinking that you are of low value and of low worth? What's got you thinking that? Because something had you thinking it. I had low self-esteem. I could tell you exactly where it came from and how I acquired that. Took me so long, well into my adulthood, to battle that demon. That was a very persistent demon. Finding my value, very persistent demon. What, you go to therapy to fight the therapist and tell the therapist ain't nothing wrong with you? What potential she has to be a good woman is circling the drain of unaccountability. The thing that makes us good isn't that we're not sleeping around with so many men and, putting ourselves in those situations. That's only a part of it. What makes the lioness is our spiritual accountability, the work that we do, and our willingness to take responsibility and accountability for shortcomings, mistakes, bad choices, and anything else that we need to actually work on. Being humble enough and having enough humility to understand that, there's always room for improvement, to take into account other people's experiences of you, people that you care about, people that you want relationship with, people that you care what they think and how they experience you. You care what kind of impact you are making on them and in the relationships that you have with them. That's what make you address stuff. Because if the people that you love around you are telling you about yourself, maybe you're not doing nothing specifically to them, but maybe they're saying, we can see this issue, that issue, da 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 da. Whether you're ready to face it or not becomes an irrelevant thing. And the importance is that you start to address it. You must address it. You may not think that you're having the problem that they say that you're having. I've been confronted with that. Why is that a problem? That's a problem. Okay. But then you gotta get out of your own head with it though, too. Just because you don't see nothing wrong with it doesn't mean that, again, we're going back to intent versus impact. Just because you do not intend to do something wrong does not mean that you are not doing anything wrong. Thank you, Ladell said, for invisible flaws. Excuse me. Thank you, Marriage Politics says she want to be accepted as is. HVAC says she's a big back bombisha, not bombisha. I'm in the gym. There's a difference between thick and having a wide back. So this woman needs therapy. Kendra, she ain't it. I can see the depression on this girl's face. Low self-esteem. Been in therapy. I can see the signs. And also to HVAC, so only a simp would get with this woman. Had to dump my ex from high school mainly because of the weight issues she had. Couldn't work with it. I don't have time for a woman who won't get right. I'm reading all of yours for a reason. HVAC says she don't go to no man almost cursed. She ain't going to no therapy. I see it. Is her therapist holding her accountable? Thank you for all of your super chats, HVAC. Thank you, High Tolerance. Said them legs might have been closed for 9 years, but that mouth was probably still open for deposits. Thank you, Too Tall. Said outstanding. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you again, High Tolerance. In the words of Cass, these aren't the women stepping out of 911s and hurricanes. They climbing out of F-250s and 3500s, heavy duty work. And thank you, Miss Mia, for your super stick. I appreciate you, sweetheart. So I knew that this show was going to be longer just because of the video that we were viewing. Hold on for a second. We're going to get out of here, but before we do.
Diary of Dark One's Son is a look into the thoughts, opinions, and experiences of a young black man who is wrestling with the tough task of trying to make something out of himself in a very racist and hateful environment. It covers in detail the thoughts of a man as he observes and eventually learns how to cope and deal with the world around him. It is a story of a man who, while beset with many obstacles, learns how to overcome them in order to accomplish his goals and aspirations. This book is not for the faint of heart, and the opinions that are shared in this book can be deemed very offensive to some readers. If you think that you will be offended by the opinions shared in this book, the answer is simple. This is not the book for you. This book is merely the opinions of one man, and it should be taken as such. However, if you really wish to gain insight into the thoughts of a young black male in today's society, then look no further. Read this book. Excerpt from the book. From the chapter, Am I Visible or What? One day when I was walking home from school, I came across this other brother who was walking my way. In his eyes, I could see the sadness, the same sadness that was in mine. I knew exactly what was going through his mind too. He was feeling like an absolute nobody. How did I know, you ask? Because I was feeling the same way at the moment, right when I walked past him. Have you ever felt, if you are a black man reading this, that you were invisible to the world? Not because you want to be, but because people refuse to acknowledge your presence. Read more when you purchase this book. This book can be purchased from lulu.com.
All right, so the link is pinned to the top of the chat if you want to support and purchase the ebook version. If you would like the paperback version of the brother's book, then that link is in the description box. Thank you so much for all of the support and for coming through and talking with me today. We had to do this show today. I thought it was important. So in any case, Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.